used to hate the way I looked on camera. That's changed. Don't mind it so much anymore. And yeah, I used to really hate the way I looked on camera. It's like it didn't matter what angle. It didn't matter at all. I just didn't like to see myself on camera. But what changed? I stopped taking photos. I stopped being in photos. I stopped being in videos. And I decided that if I'm ever gonna put my face on camera, it's gonna be under invocation. So yeah, that's when things started to change. Then I was like, hey, all these pictures are great since I started calling on Lilith before going on camera, and it's always been like that. Since I made that decision, I've never been on camera without first performing some kind of invocation. Dionysus, Heka, always bringing someone with me onto the camera. I've heard from other psychics that they can perceive like 5 or 6 different spirits that are always with me on camera, but the truth is there's a lot more than that. Those are just the biggest ones. They're the most noticeable. Those 6 God forms. The rest are smaller, you know, like imagine it's 6 pillars, and underneath each pillar is like another 6 that holds it up, and so on and so forth, like a pyramid descending, something like that. And ascending, you know, it's a fractal that goes in both ways. So each one of the 6 holds another one. Well, yeah, each hexagram has another pillar on top of it and is part of another bigger structure. That reminds me, I wanted to do some divination. For myself. Because you know, your future is defined by the actions you take each day, so therefore every new thing you try out creates a different future. So I wanted to find out what the new things I started doing yesterday, what kind of future they defined for me. That can stay there for now. In fact, it can go a little further back. Winter is definitely coming. It was like very sudden. Was it this week? No, last week. Just suddenly realized last week Wednesday winter arrived. Okay. What kind of future did yesterday's actions create for me? How interesting. I've got the Death card and the 4 of Cups that just show themselves. So I kind of already noticed huge changes taking place after yesterday's actions. And this morning I woke up to the sound of rebirth. Literally. My partner got up in the early hours of the morning and started writing music. But that 4 of Cups talks about structure, emotional harmony, and rebirth. that emotional harmony and structure creates rebirth. It allows the old and things that don't serve to fall away and new things to come in their place. So I was like this close to being an affiliate on Twitch. Like, you gotta have a certain number of average viewers, certain number of followers, have a certain amount of content, certain number of videos on certain days. And I met all those criteria except my average viewers. And then last week, my average viewers started spiking. And I was like this far away from meeting that. I was like 0.1, literally 0.1 away from meeting that requirement. But yeah, now this week it's backtracked. It's like I've got 0 to 1 viewer per stream. So the number's going down again, the average number. 4 of discs in the present, so my descriptive card. Crossed by the mages, number 1. That's cool. That 4 of discs talks about having authority over your physical space, having authority over your own security, having authority over your finances and your work and your sex life, and everything being within your grasp, everything being in your hand. And maintaining it requires discipline in order to maintain that rule. And it's crossed by the mages. So the mages, the crossing card kind of explains why the present is the way it is. So the mages talks about, first of all, communication, talks about speaking, communicating clearly, being honest about what's going on, about your feelings, about your intentions, about what you're creating, what you desire. It also talks about setting things in motion, so it's kind of saying that things that I have set in motion have brought about this security, this authority in the physical world. So if I have to take that into consideration with yesterday, so it's kind of saying that what I did yesterday gave me authority today. It's talking more generally. It's saying that in the present I have been living within authority. I've been exercising authority over my physical world, making sure everything is in the proper structure, the proper order, available when I need it. And this was accomplished because when I see something that needs changing, or I see something that's lacking, then I set something in motion. I set a plan, or I just give energy to an idea so that it manifests into the physical world and slots itself in where it needs to be slotted in. Hey Mayank. Rupali, I don't know why I said Mayank. I literally read the name Mayank, but it's Rupali. You would like to ask? Sure. What do you want to ask? Conscious mind is the star reversed. So the star is what you do after you've identified your shortcomings, your limits, and your insecurities. So we have experiences, we have sexual experiences, we have creative experiences, we complete creative projects or accomplishments, and our identity gets built around those experiences and accomplishments. And then we become aware that that's not actually what defines our identity, and that's jarring and frightening depending on how long we've lived in that identity. And then the star comes when you have seen that, and it's like, okay, well, what kind of solution can I create? And you're now applying the solution. So that's where my conscious mind is. It's in that place post tower. I've seen my own insecurities. I've seen the parts of my identity and my ego that are not secure, and I'm like, okay, what kind of solutions can I bring? And I'm stepping out towards that. I have to make decisions on what kind of changes need to be made and what I'm going to be consistent with, what I'm going to commit to. But this card is talking about a little bit of overwhelm, feeling like it's too much, like all the changes or all the insecurities are too much to deal with. Yeah, it does kind of resonate. It resonates with things I've been going through relationship-wise. Yeah. It kind of makes me think of the end of April, where my sleep cycle was completely whacked, and I was having a hard time getting it back in sync. Like I'd get tired at around about 10 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, would pass out, sleep the rest of the day away, and this just kept getting further and further and further until I was like up at 10 o'clock still from the previous day. 10 o'clock the next morning. Yeah, and I was trying to, in the past I've had issues like that, and I've tried to make it work. I found solutions to that problem to get my sleep cycle back in sync. But I was single during that time, so the methods and the habits that I would use to rectify my sleep cycle, it would take about 3 days, but it's 3 days of like hermit, 3 days of self-isolation and distracting myself from being tired, playing video games at night to stay awake, cooking and eating a lot more than usual, because eating helps me keep energy in my body, or so I believe. It's psychosomatic, but whatever. And then that was difficult for my partner, because she was like, you're spending all of your time alone. It's been 2 days and you've just been alone, and I don't feel like I'm getting any time with you. So I was like, okay, well, let me try a different strategy, and it didn't work. It took me backwards, and all the progress I'd made I lost. So yeah, definitely see how this card is in reverse for me right now. Hey, Varying Redbeard, are you still barred? I didn't know you were ever barred. Karin, hi Karin, says Jessica O. Everybody says she lives in. Will my Sonia aunt tell me about Yatin when she comes to India? What can I expect her to tell me about him? She lives in New York, and he is in New York. He is my aunt's best friend's son, and Sonia aunt introduced my family to his family for Yatin and my marriage arrangement years back. So that was a long time ago that happened. What? Good morning, Jenna. And I hope you're doing well, Jessica O. I'm not so sure how this card applies considering yesterday's actions. Let me think. Okay, I guess yesterday was part of me applying the solution. Today I'm seeing the results of the solution, but I'm feeling uncertain if it's going to last, or I'm going to be able to hold it long enough. I'm also concerned about the effect it's having on my environment and the people that I'm connected to. Unconscious variable, 3 of Wands in reverse. 3 of Wands. My unconscious mind is dealing with hopelessness? Huh. So I did have some wacky dreams. And when I woke up, I felt really glad that I wasn't in that reality that I was dreaming about. Rupali says, yes, then due to misunderstandings things didn't fall into place, but Yatin and I became good friends. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I'm gonna read regarding that relationship between you and Yatin. I'm gonna read to find out what your aunt is gonna tell you when she comes to India. Why don't you just wait for her, or like send her a text or write her a letter? Jessica says I'm doing well. Rupali says, and later due to family we are forced to be apart. Forced to be apart. So they ended up hating him. They originally wanted to marry you to him, and then there was some misunderstanding. So okay, I see what happened. No worries. I see what happened. No need to further clarify. Okay. Jessica O says, can I know, is it good to apply? Is it good to apply to a job in my country or wait for the right time to go abroad? I want to know if I can expect her to tell me that Yatin wants to reconnect. Okay. And Jessica says, you're looking more good today. So I wasn't looking all that good last time we spoke. That's interesting. Thanks for letting me know. RB says, are you a drug addict? I am most definitely a drug addict, unfortunately. You know, coffee and cigarettes just have me. I'm doing my best. Do you know coffee and cigarettes are drugs? Oh, I forgot about sugar. Fuck, sugar's the worst of all those drugs. That's the hardest one. If I even go a day without eating any sugar, then I get really bleak and miserable. And hungry. Okay, where was I? I was here with the 3 of Wands in reverse. I guess I did take a shower earlier, so that might be why. On other days I shower after streaming. It depends. It depends on the weather, to be honest. Whether I shower before or after. If it's cold like this, then I shower before. If it's hot, I shower later. Of course, Jen, I can do that for you. Rupali says, it's funny, we both liked each other and family misunderstanding, and his mom didn't want talks to go any further. So it was his mom that got upset. I thought it would be your mom that got upset. Okay, I see now. I see more. Every time you tell me about this, I'm like seeing the conversations taking place. I'm seeing a lot of friskiness. And his mom like blaming you for the friskiness. He's such a virtuous boy. It must be your fault. Okay. Okay, so your mom is on your side. Nice, that's cool. This Three of Wands is talking to me about feeling hopeless, like in my unconscious. Something that I'm not realizing is affecting me. Hopelessness about my intentions and my desires, particularly. Feeling like what's required of me in order to accomplish my desires is more than I can give. Nice way to avoid the algorithm. What more is this card saying to me? Three of Wands in reversed. Three of Wands in reversed. Feeling like my intentions are misunderstood. But this is all going on in the unconscious. These are things that are affecting me in the present, affecting my choices. Okay, so it's kind of saying that I went through, that I did what I was doing yesterday in order to make some kind of change there. It's because of this hopelessness, this underlying hopelessness that I wasn't seeing, that I chose to take the actions I chose to take yesterday. And I guess, like I did a reading for myself before I did my stream yesterday, before I started with what I was doing yesterday, and it told me that it's going to create clarity regarding my intentions. It's going to allow others to understand more clearly. I mean, I know a lot of you guys, especially those of you who view regularly, you guys understand. And but some of you don't, you know, some of the viewers who pop in and they leave, it's because they misunderstand what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to offer, what I'm creating. And I also see it in like relationships, in friendships. Like I'll say something and they will think that my intentions are impure. Like one of my closest friends for the longest time thought I was a terrible person. Was terrified of me because thought I would just do anything, that I had no moral compass. It was only after moving in and being housemate for a while that she started to understand me better. Closest friends? Yeah, oldest friends, closest friends. No, she never let on that this was how she perceived me, but then again it was a projection, you know. It wasn't because she was seeing me act negatively or in harmful ways. It was that she was looking at me through the lens of others that she knew, and looking at me through the lens of herself. So yeah, until I became a bigger influence than those other people in her life, she didn't ever see me really clearly. Why must I block them? Is he offending you? Ted, pseudo-spiritual white woman with a crystal collection, be like, I'm manifesting prosperity and abundance. Okay, now try Elon Musk car crash. What? You know, he's kind of spot on. He's kind of spot on. Elon Musk can manifest money like this. He doesn't have a crystal collection. But that's beside the point, you know, each of us does things differently. But then again, he's still spot on, because, you know, there are so many spiritually awakened, typical, it's very, like, it might sound racist, but it's not. It's very typical of the Western white women, particularly. There are very few of us male witches and mages that put ourselves on camera. But yeah, it's like, oh, I'm manifesting wealth and abundance, but nothing really changes in their lives. If you know them as friends, you will watch how they're constantly talking about manifesting this and manifestation. They give worlds of advice for everyone around them, but their lives don't really improve. They stay in one place. And this is something I see time and time again, and so basically, as I've evolved through my journey and my life has changed, I look back to the first few communities that I was involved in, and I look there and I'm like, yeah, during that time, basically that taught me to be quiet. It made me realize those people and those communities, the people who talk a lot about magic and how spiritual they are, for them it's an identity. It's a fad. It's aesthetical. They don't even realize it. It's unconscious for them, but it's about looking like a witch. It's not about actually practicing witchcraft and magic. And it also taught me, like, as I moved out of that, as I came away from Wicca and spiritualism and all of that, and I started moving into Satanism and Setianism, then I discovered that those, like, even among the Satanists, it was the same. Most of them are aesthetical, but then there were a few in between who you would never guess were witches or Satanists. And yeah, from them I learned that they were the ones who actually led full lives. They were the ones who actually made changes and progress when change and progress was necessary. It basically taught me that those who are very loudmouthed about themselves, about their witchcraft and their identity, they don't really know jack shit. It's those who are low-key that you would never suspect. Those are the ones with power. In position of the past, I have number 14 in reverse. So that's kind of telling me that it's talking to me specifically about my marriage, not my current relationship, but the marriage that I have come out of with my ex-wife. It's kind of saying that an entire identity or ego got built out of that negative experience. Like, yeah, sure, it taught me a lot, and I grew, and I evolved, and I matured through it. And there was a lot of pain, and we couldn't work together. And I learned, because of how much I learned, how much I grew, and how much I matured, it became like a cornerstone experience that my identity stood on. And it kind of allows me to have the authority that I have in the present. It is also the tower that collapsed, because over here we saw I was putting solutions to insecurities in my identity. So this is pre-tower. This is my reading. It's also not talking about so far back, although that's the first thing that came to my mind. It's also talking about in the present. It's talking about like the beginning of this relationship that I'm currently in. We struggled to work together. Like, we worked well together, but actually working together, actually partnering, you know, when it comes to work and content and all of that, it's like we didn't want to acknowledge that we needed the other's help or wanted the other's help. And now there are so many reasons why this is the case, for me and for her, but that's not all that relevant. It's just kind of saying that's coming to a close. The longer we've been together, the more we're integrating with one another, and the more my artistic process can support hers, and the more hers supports mine, and so on and so forth. And the more that I demonstrate the value I'm prepared to offer her, the more she opens up and shares the value that she has to offer me. And again, it's saying that that is what has led to the authority that we wield in the present moment with that 4 of discs, having authority and rule over our physical world, over our security and our finances and all of that stuff. Okay. I'm getting so many different dimensions to these cards. Every time I flip one over, it like adds a new layer onto all the others that I've already read. Future interval card is number 3 in reverse. God damn it. God damn it. Couldn't you have shown me this card yesterday when I did a reading? Not now. Post spell. You know, pre-spell, pre-action. I asked about the effects it would have, and you just showed me all the positive effects. Ah, now you show me the detriments. It's basically saying to me, it's talking to me of how I'm going to switch places. Not physically, well, yes, physically, mentally, emotionally, and physically, with some others. Like all the shit that I was going through. I mean, it's not been that bad, to be honest, not recently. But in the past it's been pretty bad, but recently no. Now basically what it's saying is that I'm switching places as a result of everything that I've done yesterday. I am moving forward into a healthier state of being, but those around me are falling into that place that I was in. Jasmine Dorga, welcome. What more is this card saying to me? Okay, it's also saying to me that a lot of the planning that I've done is rendered obsolete. A lot of the planning and some of the systems that I've had in place and some of the some of the ideas that I've set motion to are rendered obsolete by the work that I did yesterday. Interesting. It's also talking a bit to me about this upcoming trip. I'm going on a retreat, a Vipassana retreat. Yes, I know that I thought it wasn't going to happen, but as soon as I accepted that it might not happen, then the means to go just fell into my lap. So, that's how it works. When you're manifesting something, then doubt and fear comes, and as soon as you can accept, okay, this is possible, and it's okay if it goes the way that I'm hoping it won't go, that I'm afraid it will go, but I'm still going to continue to believe and focus on creating it the way I've seen. That's when the manifestation occurs. That is probably the most important step. Well, the most important step is to create it with words. It's a thought. What you want to manifest is a thought. Then you create it with words and drawings and pictures. Planning stage, you're giving the thought its first physical form. That's the most important. But equally as important as that step is to accept that it might result in failure, and that it might not happen the way you're seeing it, or intending it, or manifesting it. Three of Cups. Okay, I feel like this Three of Cups came up to add to what I was talking about manifestation. It's saying, sure, putting things in motion by giving them physical form through words and drawing and writing and sound, that might be very important, but simultaneously you're going to have to become aware of what it requires of you. Like a dream, an idea, a thought, if you want to see it realized, if you desire it to be realized, it places certain responsibilities and requirements on you. It's like manifesting this thought, seeing it become reality has requirements of you. It gives responsibility. What was the other one? Seven of Wands in reverse. Okay, that one is also saying that you can't have too many. You can't be trying to manifest too many ideas at once. You've got to, in the Seven of Cups, in the Seven of Wands, not in this deck, in a friend of mine's deck, there's like this monk, and he's yeeting all of the wands away, and he's holding one close to him. So that's kind of how it's going to be. You've got to choose one desire. You've got to choose one thing that you're passionate about and create that. Once it's fully complete, once the process is complete, you can set something else in motion, but you can't really, as long as there are endless possibilities in front of you, none of it's going to become your reality. You have to choose a path, and you have to choose a destination. Okay, who am I reading for first? Republicana is the first one. Okay, this is a simple one, I think. What can Rupali expect upon her aunt's return from New York? On behalf of Rupalikana, does the one referred to as Yatin wish to reconnect? So it's rotating anti-clockwise and swinging left to right. It's saying, first of all, no, he doesn't have any intentions or desire to reconnect. The rotating anti-clockwise, it kind of says that your family has made it this way and you have made it this way. He's also been convinced, like his mother has convinced him that he needs to look closer to home. It's J, not Y, not A. J, not A. Okay, Jaden. Prince of Discs in reversed. So the Prince of Discs in reversed, it's saying a couple of things. First of all, it's saying that this enduring, this like waiting and waiting endlessly for this man, or for your aunt to tell you about him wanting to reconnect, that hope, it's not serving you. Yeah, that waiting, that enduring, it's not serving you. You don't have to be doing it. You can be, instead of relying on something from the outside world to come and redeem you, you can look inside and find what's necessary to redeem yourself. And it's also saying that when she arrives, you can expect to hear a lot of shit that you don't want to hear. You're gonna have to listen to her talk a lot about things that don't interest you. It's also talking about having to endure a lot of attention. Having to put up with company and attention, and like, I'm sure you're familiar when there's a reunion, a family reunion, and everybody is around to visit them, and houses and spaces get very busy and privacy becomes a distant memory for that period. And that's kind of what it's warning of. But at any rate, he's not intending to reconnect, not desiring to reconnect. I doubt Jatin is divorced, and she might end up telling me that. Can you tell me if that's the shit going on? No. the pendulum and the cards are not telling me anything about what he's going through. Well, it is telling me what he's going through. He feels pushed away, he feels rejected by you, he feels he's been manipulated and influenced by his family, made to believe things and see from their perspective. But it's not telling me if he is not talking to you because of his marriage or his divorce. If he is married and that's why he doesn't talk to you, like, I wouldn't message you privately either because I'm in a relationship, you know. It's just like not ethical. It's not ethical to try and form connections with other people who are the same gender as my partner. It's just not ethical. Unless you're polygamous and that's like a thing that you do, you know, marry multiple people. Yeah, exactly. Oh, so he's in the process of getting divorced. Okay, I see. So will Jatin seek out Rupali once he is divorced? So it's rotating clockwise. It's not saying yes or no. It's saying this is something you're gonna have to, if you want him to, you need to like put yourself out there. Remind him that you're still alive. Remind him of the connection you once had. Basically, it's saying that there is something you're gonna have to do to get his attention before he seeks you out. Your aunt never tells you the truth. But I can deduce from the readings that I've given you that he is going through a divorce. The Prince of Discs, if I read it for him, it's talking about having to endure something that's very uncomfortable in his relationship. And the pendulum swinging clockwise, that does imply that he's busy getting divorced. I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm not going to explain myself because that's boring and frustrating. Prince of Discs is not Knight of Pentacles. Prince of Discs is Prince of Discs. There is also a Knight of Discs. So Jenna wants me to check on her energy body with the cards. Can I do something else? Can I use another tool instead of the cards? Because I'd like to. Actually, I will. Oh, Jess, did you want a reading? I didn't know. Like, at no point did you indicate that you were here for a reading. Oh, you did. You wanted to know, is it good to apply a job in my country or wait for the right time to go abroad? So there's like messages coming to me already, and the first thing is, yes, it's a good idea to apply to a job in your country, because the right time to go abroad is going to show up whether you have a job or not. So might as well do something with your time while you wait. But before I use these scrying waters for Jenna, I will just like draw some cards for you. These cards smell like an old book. You know when you go to the library and you open those books and they have that old book smell? These cards smell like an old book. Okay, so what advice do the spirits have for Jessica O regarding the decisions of the present? Where's my dice? My dice has got to be somewhere here. Jasmine Dorga? You don't need to. Rather don't. Thanks. There's still tea in here. I thought it was empty. Okay, so Jess, I have number 14 of the Trumps view, and this has a few things to say. First of all, it's talking about some kind of positive experience that you've had, accomplishment, like something creative that you did, maybe an article, maybe a thesis, maybe an art piece. It's some kind of accomplishment to do with your creativity and applying your creativity. Some kind of project that you completed it's become like a cornerstone in your identity and your ego, and it also provides you with the means to travel. It provides you with the opportunities you have in the present, and yeah, and that's kind of what it's talking about. It's also talking about working together with others. It's saying that you do this well. You have done it well. Like whether or not it's like a work relationship or a romantic relationship, you are able to be flexible. Like You are flexible with what they consider to be essentials. You don't let it get in the way of your own goals, and you're flexible with them regarding what you consider to be essential. That's within habits, that's within lifestyle, that's within the budget, financing and budget. Every aspect of your life, you've been working well with those around you. And it's a cool card, you know. A lot of people struggle with teamwork, but it's kind of saying to you that you thrive in that, or you have thrived in that, like, teamwork environment, working together with people. Present interval is number 4, the Emperor. So this is talking about your relationship, if you have one. Well, you do have relationships, but if you have a romantic relationship, this might be indicating your partner. If it's not, it's probably just talking about close friends, like close male friends, or close male family members. All of those things actually is what it's talking about. But it's saying to you, step up into your role as the masculine, step up into your inner masculinity, go and get that job, start breadwinning, even if it's just as a show of appreciation to your partner, or as a way to, like, make your dad proud. That's kind of what I feel from it. Because getting a job is not going to take you away from any opportunities to travel abroad. If you see opportunities to travel abroad, you can still go after them. Even if it means quitting your job, it's not the end of the world, you know? But waiting and not doing anything, you might never get the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? The opportunity to go abroad might never present itself, or you might never have the means to chase after it or seize it if you don't have a job in the first place. So all in all, this is saying, yeah, go ahead and get that job, because maybe you don't need it in order to travel. It's also not going to get in the way of you traveling. Yeah. Right, you have to stand up in masculinity. Feeling kinda hard right now, confusing for me. So here's some headers on the masculinity. The masculine aspect of yourself and of everyone, like, it demonstrates itself through structure and discipline and routine, patience, knowing when to make the hard decision, choosing your battles, choosing when to take a hit and when to fight back, depending on who's gonna get influenced by the conflict. Providence, you know, like being able to provide for those that you care about, holding them in security through your routine, through your structure. So that's what the card is trying to say to you, is step into that role within yourself. Maybe you have maybe you have a partner who does these things for you. Maybe you have always had someone in your life who demonstrates that masculine character for you. But the card wants you to step into it in yourself for their sake, you know, to take some of the burden off of them. To show your dad or those strong masculine figures that have been in your life, hey, I learned. Hey, I recognize what you've done. Jenna says the pen to the paper. Yeah, the masculine is the active part. Here's a perfect example, you know. Let's say my left hand is my feminine and I want to play guitar, but I don't want my masculine to get involved. I can press the chords on the guitar, but they're not going to make any kind of sound unless I take my right hand, the masculine, and strum. You see. So when I took this card off of there, I was spinning it around in my hand, so I have no idea whether it was the right way around or upside down. In that case, I'm going to read it as both. I'm going to take both into consideration. So first of all, the card says to you, what is opening up is structure. It is the masculine. It's rule over your physical world, over your finances, over your own security and your own independence, having authority over that aspect of yourself. And getting yourself a job is key in that. It doesn't matter if you work for someone else or if you start your own business or whatever, start your own side thing. But it's a key to establishing that independence and that authority and that security. So the other thing that it would have said to you if it was reversed is warning you that if you go abroad and you don't have this kind of Four of Discs energy, this structure and this rule, it's not gonna be that much of a fun experience, because you're going to be consistently relying on other people around you. You're going to be consistently phoning home for help. Yeah, it's going to be you can have a more liberated experience abroad if you first have this Four of Discs castle, might, structure, authority over your life and your own independence and your security, your finances. If you go abroad with that ace up your sleeve, excuse the pun, but yeah, it's going to be a lot more of a liberating experience. If you don't have that ace up your sleeve, then there's going to be a lot more stress and pressure on you while you're abroad. And yeah, that is what your cards have to say for you, Jess. Okay, so now we're doing Jenna's water scrying session. You're welcome. You are most welcome. Okay. Trying to think of a question that doesn't sound sexual regarding your energy. Create a path and reveal the energetics of Jenna's present circumstances. So I see you. You are shrouded in shadows. Like there's parts of your face that I can see, like little bits of skin showing on the face, but for the most part you're like a silhouette. And you're carrying something, like it looks like a meal, and you're presenting it as an offering. Your head is bowed, you're not looking up. You're like trying to avoid eye contact with the spirit of the altar, or it's just demonstrating reverence. And you're offering this meal, this cooked meal. I don't know what it is because it's in like a tray with a lid. You're offering it as as an offering. You're bringing it to the altar. Okay, this has disappeared. The image of you carrying the meal and placing it as an offering on the altar has disappeared. I see an oil lamp. It's not burning. There is a hand on the oil lamp. Like someone's just like touching it or rubbing it. Yeah, very Aladdin vibes. So this is kind of talking to me so far. It's symbols. It's saying that in your energy, what's going on in your energy is that you are basically preparing offerings and presenting offerings because you have a wish that you want granted. You have this this hope, this miracle that you wish to see manifested and given to you. So whether that looks like actually building an altar and leaving offerings there, or if that just looks like a lot of prayers, a lot of affirmations, just your energy is very focused on giving out of yourself in order to receive this hope, this wish, this miracle. Okay, so basically the lamp has now turned into a blade, and it looks like you are stabbing yourself in the chest with the lamp that has turned into a blade. It's all bloody and shit, as if you have already stabbed yourself and pulled it out and planned to stab yourself again. So what that symbol is saying to me is that each time that you go through this process of like hoping and wishing and manifesting, you build up an attachment to how it's supposed to look, an expectation of an outcome, and then when you don't see that outcome the way you had hoped, or when it seems like the opposite has happened, the opposite of what you have wished for or prayed for or manifested, then it stabs your heart and fills you with pain and heartache, and it happens again and again and again. I know what this is like. I've been in that place. And what I learned through that process, I mean, it's nothing like what you're going through now, but there have been like some near-death moments with my daughter that were very fucking scary. And yeah, I know what that was like, to stab myself in the heart, because what I was praying for, or wishing for, or trying to manifest, it seemed like the opposite was taking place, or it wasn't happening in the way that I'd requested, in the way I expected. And each time that I saw that, it was like pain. So what I learned through that is that the time frame for the universe is never, it's always instant, actually. As soon as what you have asked for is heard, the change happens and it's given to you. But the physical world, it takes time for the physical world to catch up. So in spirit, in emotions, in thoughts, changes take effect immediately, but the physical world can take a long time to catch up. So it can look like things are still getting worse, or it can look like nothing is changing, but the change has already taken place. It's just going to take time for the physical world to reflect that change. And then what do we see here in the numerology of the dice? Okay, it's number 14. So remember in my reading I was saying that I saw that looking like my relationship. I saw the art card in reversed looking like my relationship from the past, my marriage, had been a difficult and negative experience around which I had built my identity, and also out of which I was able to create authority. Basically through that experience and what I learned through it and the maturity that came through it, I'm able to have what I've got now. So this number 14 on the dice is kind of saying something similar. It's kind of saying that what you're going through, and everything that I'm seeing here in the waters, it's that experience for you. It's an experience, it's like a core founding experience for you and your identity, and where you're going to be going with your life and your daughter's life. The spirit will shine when everything else has darkened. It's like you won't, or here's my experience, I can't just, or I haven't been able to just manipulate the flame of the candle at will. When my life depends on it though, then suddenly fire responds to my command. When houses are burning, when forests are burning. I can't, or I couldn't mitigate the effects of poisons, bee stings, snake bites, when there's a doctor on hand, when there's fuck tons of medicine. I went out to buy medicine because I have bees. I bought antihistamines because I have bees. It was only when there were no antihistamines that I was able to prevent swelling and side effects solely through spirit and magic. When I am afraid and I'm constantly going to the chemist to buy an asthma pump, then I consistently had asthma. As soon as I ran out and chose to depend on spirit and chose to do breathing techniques and meditative exercises, then I found that worked. That worked in its place. Spirit shines when you are ready to place, when you have no other option except to place all of your trust and all of your belief into it. Until then, if you still have belief in this aspect, in this chemistry, or in that doctor or this medicine, then the spirit doesn't shine. That medicine shines in its place. So I've got here the Earthstone. And so this new perspective that the Earthstone gives me on the dice, on the numbers of the dice, is basically that everything that you have done, you're going to see the rewards of it. All of the efforts that you've made, all of the investments and sacrifices of your time and your resources, and your energy, all of the offerings that you've made, that you're going to see the results. You're going to see your miracle. It's going to pay off, basically. Ten of Discs is specifically to do with health. 10 of Discs, 10 and Earth, 10 of Discs works the same. Specifically to do with health and the material world. So it's saying to me that all of the offerings that you've made, and that doesn't have to look like offerings made on an altar. Every time that you have done something for the sake of your heart, for the sake of those you love, like I often say my daughter is my heart, and literally. So every sacrifice you've made of your wealth and of your energy and of your health and of your time, for the sake of your heart, for the sake of your daughter, it's going to result in her health. You're going to see that miracle, the thing you're hoping for, the thing you're manifesting. It is there. It will come through. It does take time for a seed to grow though. So in the present you are still investing. In the present you are still planting seeds and still watering them. It takes some time for them to reap a harvest. Excuse me. Oh, welcome, Vic. Thank you for joining me and joining us. Welcome to the chat. Welcome back. And good morning. Surely it's morning. It's like tomorrow morning. Damn. It must be very early. Like the sun hasn't even risen yet. My daughter is my heart, my one true love. It rocked my world. I am giving everything, and I have faith we will get to new start, to start new. I feel it coming. Thank you, Joshua. Respect. You're welcome, Jen. Grace and strength to you as you endure this. So that's basically everybody who asked for a reading today so far. Jano. Oh dear, what did you do, Jano? What did you do? Divine gave me a 1 in a billion, maybe more rare circumstance. Life. Oh, I missed Jasmine. I don't know why I didn't see you when I was scrolling through the chat now. So Jasmine wants to know about Vishal. If he's like ignoring her, or if he's just ill and, you know, just focusing on getting better. So the relationship never even started before you guys had a fallout? You just found out she had a boyfriend and just stopped talking. Yeah, the scrying is pretty intense. Scrying is pretty deep. Like, yeah, it's very personal and often very blatant. Like, I've been sitting here and someone has asked me a question and I'm literally seeing like a porno scene where they're like in bed with their partner, and I'm like, yes, the spirit really have to show me that. I'm using the toilet, I'll be back now. stream on the Thursday, do I?
Ah, when you said I would go to the toilet, my bladder filled up. Can I please?
Well, why are you waiting? Why don't you just sit down?
Because I don't want them to hear. The mic is very sensitive.
Oh, I see. Jasmine Dorga, no, you're up next. And Chandra, welcome. There is time to join the list, thank you. Jessica O says, I want focus like Karen in my life. Lol. I don't feel like my focus is something particularly divine. I'm not Shiva or anything. How am I doing? I'm doing good, thank you. How about you? Are you doing well? Okay, so I'm reading for the sake of Vishal now. I want to know what's going on with him. I don't need the dice, I don't need the water. Not for this one. So I played with the dice, I shook them around in my hand and I put them down again, and yeah, I should have just let them alone, but basically Jasmine, the dice is saying that yes, there is, you know, it's not, he is focusing on his health, but there's also been some disagreements between you two. So yeah, he's sick, that's one reason why he's not replying. You guys also had a disagreement or an argument, and that's also why he's not replying. It's not just one thing. Jessica already had a reading, Chandra, so I'm doing Jasmine's reading, and then you are after Jasmine. I'm well, says Chandra. It's been a long time. I'm seeing you after. I couldn't join your lives in between. It sounds okay. It's like it's been a long time. It sounds like you're saying we're gonna hang out later. You're gonna see me later. And then I couldn't join your lives in between. It's like we've lived many lifetimes and known each other through a few of them, but there were some in between where you just like couldn't join me. Life, like the world was too hectic. You were like, nay, I'm not incarnating. You're going alone, brother. I do understand what you mean, but you know, that's what it sounds like. He will message you. He will message you once he's had some time to cool off and he has had some time to, you know, get better. Then he will. But what else can the tarot say about that? What does the tarot have to say about the state of Vishal's house? Car. All of these things. Okay. What do the spirits have to say about the state of Vishal's health? Knight of Cups. So this is saying that in the past you would have dealt with this differently. If you guys had a disagreement or an argument and he was sick at the same time, he might have gotten really angry, really vengeful, accusing, self-pitying, playing the victim card. This is the kind of thing that he might have done in the past. He might have even gotten spiteful. But that's the past, you know? Something has happened since then, and he's gone through a whole rebirth in his emotional being. He doesn't interact with his emotions the same way that he used to. He recognizes... what is the word that I'm looking for here? He recognizes... What's the word when something isn't what it's supposed to be? Irrational. He recognizes irrational feelings and irrational thoughts and he realizes he doesn't have to act on every emotion he has. So him choosing to just like focus on himself and not message you for a day or two, that is him applying a new method. That's him finding some other way to deal with his emotions. Instead of blowing it up and sending it out of proportion, you just step back for a moment. A proverb, I don't know who by, but there's a proverb that says, a moment of patience in a moment of anger will save you many moments of regret. Jim, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You don't have to sit at the bathroom door and whine at everybody who uses the bathroom. You haven't been abandoned. In the present, we've got a Six of Wands. The Six of Wands, it is saying that you guys are in a pretty strong place in your relationship. Like, you don't have to worry that a little bit of an argument is going to destroy the relationship you have. It's a very deep and intimate connection. It's a lot more secure than a little disagreement or a little misunderstanding. He has matured so much since meeting you, and you have matured so much since meeting him. It's also saying that this relationship will never disappear, it'll never fall away. It might change, it might look different in 5 years, but you guys will always be close. It'll never end. Like, it'll never end. It might change, but it will not end. It will not break. Future interval is 9 of discs in reverse. So this card is saying that his lack of health right now is his own doing. Maybe he's been taking drugs. Maybe he has been overeating, undereating. Basically, it's saying that the things he's struggling with in his health, he's not well. It's a result. It's not like a sickness that you catch by chance. It's the result of something he's done or something he's neglected to do. Maybe it's like a side effect of diabetes and he hasn't been controlling his diet the way he's supposed to. Basically, that card is just saying to me that his health, whatever he's struggling with right now, it is, yeah, he is responsible. Like it's a result of his actions or his lack of actions, and he needs to acknowledge his part to play, or otherwise he's not really going to get better. He needs to change something in his behaviors, or otherwise it's going to stay the same. Oh, my mistake, Chandray. So I had someone after Jasmine. Jano was after Jasmine. Then Chandray comes in. Then GS comes in. Welcome, GS, by the way, if you're still here. Jano, let me know if you're still here. So Jano, if there hasn't been a falling out, if there hasn't been a fallout, then there's no need for reconciliation. Okay, it doesn't look like Jano is still here. Okay, so then Chandray, I'll do your reading. Just want to go and check what it was. Will he be contacting you in the future? Is he moving on and meeting someone else? What is what are his intentions regarding Chandray? Is he moving on? What advice do the spirits have for Chandray, one way or another? On behalf of Chandray, the one referred to as Sora of Maitra, will he be contacting her in the future? So it's answering yes, but it's a very gentle back and forth rocking, and that indicates to me yes, but you're not going to be able to benefit from him contacting you. So yes, he will be contacting you in the future, but that could be tomorrow, That could be 5 minutes from now. That could be 5 years from now. It could be any time between now and forever, because you know the future is infinite. But then that slow swinging is kind of saying that it's not going to be something you can benefit from. He's not going to be contacting you because he wants to restart a relationship, or yeah, it's not going to be something you can benefit from. Whatever he contacts for you for, or why. Six of Wands in reversed. So this is a cool card. This is a Six of Wands in reversed, and it talks about him having learned a lot from you and evolved and matured, and you from him. But it wasn't easy. You know, he didn't want to acknowledge when he was in the wrong. He didn't want to acknowledge his limitations and his shortcomings. He also had like a rigid way of believing how the world works and how the universe works, and what isn't true and what is true. Very rigid in his beliefs, and you also in yours. So yeah, being with you expanded his mind. It expanded what he believed, it expanded his paradigm. But it wasn't easy for him to go through that evolution. It wasn't easy for him to acknowledge himself. It wasn't easy for him to open up to new ideas. And the same applies for you. You had similar experience in the relationship. So he does not intend to let this relationship die. That's his intention. Maybe it's time to change the way the relationship works. Maybe it's time to change the status of the relationship, but he doesn't want it to die. He doesn't want it to end. He always wants to have you in his life. It's not talking about whether or not he's moving on. Maybe he will move on. Maybe he will be with someone else. Maybe that's what he wants. But he hasn't moved on yet. You're still very much in his mind. The relationship you guys have had is still very much in his mind. It still pretty much influences everything he does. GS. Username GS. On YouTube. Username GS. You're up next. Please confirm if you're here. It's time for you to get your reading. Oh dear. My system is frozen. Completely. Everything. Frozen. So I don't even know if you guys are chatting anymore, because I have no idea at what point this thing froze. Yeah, it definitely looks like the chat has gone on, but I'm not seeing it on this end. Okay, so when I was calling for Jay No, you were here. But I didn't know because my system was frozen, so I didn't see the response. So weird. Why and how this happens? It happens at absolute random. So I'm just gonna like take a break. Thank you for sticking around, GS. So some names I can just make them out. Like I see Chandra did message saying something, Jano said something, GS said something, but I can't read what it says over there on that screen. Oh wait, something's happening here. Something's happening. Chandra, I finished your reading. I'm not gonna scry into the bowl. Ugh. How boring. I'm just saying how boring to Sahu, because Sahu like joins the chat and says, I've missed my reading before even asking a question. Jenna says someone is crying. How's the goal coming for the Independence Day? Thank you for showing a ray of hope. Honestly, I had lost hope. He has jaundice. Ish. Yes, Jano, I'm gonna read for you next. Don't stress. We haven't talked in 3 weeks. Do you see my responses? No, I didn't at that time, but now I'm going through them. Jano is here. And then Sahu says, can I be added? Can I ask my question? Jano is there, saying they haven't talked in 3 weeks. I responded right away. What is a shock feeling for me, and he came back in my life, possible or not, separated. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like bored of Sahu and your readings. Sorry, Sahu. You asked me the same question for the past 5 months. You've been asking me the same question, and no matter what the tarot says to you, even though the tarot keeps telling you the same thing, move on, you keep asking the same question. So yeah. What is slow swinging? So he's dating another or wanting to? So it's not gonna die, but evolve and transform and then start in a new way? Yeah, kind of. Is he dating another? It didn't say that. It just answered, yes, he's going to contact you, but you're not going to be able to benefit from it. It's not going to be about what you want it to be about. That's the only thing that the pendulum was saying, and the cards gave you more info. The chat really got busy while I was staring at a frozen screen. GS wants to know about person's intentions and next action. Yeah, that's why I couldn't see in here, Jano. Can I scry to that bowl and tell you about S? As I said, I already did your reading for you, so yeah. Jano, reading for you. And then GS is after. What is that? It's the star. What is the star saying to you, Jano? It's saying a couple of things. It's saying that the way you approach, the way you communicate, you could have saved yourself a lot of time if you had been more direct. So basically this card is saying to you, apply solutions. So like if you look back at the process of how you got to where you are, you can learn from it and you can see where you could have done better and where your shortcomings were, and then apply solutions. Also the pain or the frustration you've been feeling, channel it into constructive work, into artistic expression. Write letters, even if you never show them to anyone. Draw maybe. Sing, even if you don't think you sound good. And yeah, that's all that that card is saying. You wanted to know if you were gonna start a relationship, if you were gonna reconcile. So if you didn't argue with her or have a fight, then there is no reconciliation necessary. But if you're gonna start a relationship, it means that she has to get out of the relationship she's currently in, and then she has to heal from that, and then you have to start a friendship, and then you have to get into a relationship. So nice, you do sing actually, and you run to help clear your mind. Amazing. So I guess that card was less about what you still need to do and more about recognition of what you have been doing about it. So I want to tell you something. The fact that she was interacting with you on the level that she did, it implies that she did not see very much value in her relationship. But the fact that she cut that off and retreated, it's saying that that's changing, that she doesn't want to lose what she already has. It's very interesting that it took you so long to discover that she found that she had a boyfriend. It's interesting that she kept that to herself for so long, but continued to entertain you and interact with you. It's something you could expect, you know? Imagine you got into a relationship with her. She's gonna do the same thing. She's gonna let other men approach her and lead them on like she's single, not mentioning you. Basically weighing her options. I don't know if I like the sound of that. Yeah, exactly. She kept it from you. It's like she wanted to keep you there as like a side option in case things went sour. Doesn't sound very healthy. Doesn't sound very respectful. So I feel like the question now, the mage just jumped out here. Okay, so the question now is, are you prepared to set that relationship in motion now that you've seen this side of her? Are you prepared to give energy to that and still follow after a relationship with someone, yeah, who was dishonest by omission? Help Jay know to understand the mind of Elise and give him the clarifying information that he needs. Yeah, it depends on how honest she's willing to be now. Number 20 in the position of the past. So this card is kind of saying that her honesty was her judging herself righteously. It was her looking at her life and the things she's been doing and saying and not saying, and deciding if that is the person she wants to be, and then deciding who she wants to be, what level of integrity does she want to demonstrate, and then, yeah, moving into that, stepping into it, letting go of that old aeon, that old period where there were aspects of herself that she wasn't proud of, and embracing a new aeon with all the new character traits and habits that she wants to be perceived and known for. This created a rebirth in her emotions. Because there were reasons behind all the things that she did, all the things that she didn't do, all the things that she said, all the things that she didn't say. There were reasons behind them. There were emotional influences that led to these courses of action and these decisions. And so choosing to let go of those habits, because they might be hurting herself, or they might be hurting her partner, or they might be hurting others, and embracing something new, it also meant that she had to face all of those feelings and find new ways to cope with them. And so that's what's going on for her right now in the present. She is learning new ways to cope and express herself, and cope with those emotional influences. Like the reason that she would keep to herself that she has a boyfriend and dangle you along, there are multiple emotional influences that come in there. First, fear of rejection. Second, insecurity, lack of trust in her current partner, feeling like at any moment he could cheat on her, even if that's not true, but still feeling that way, feeling the fear of that. So those are two reasons why it would go the way it has gone. And yeah, if she's letting go of that kind of behavior, then she's also having to face those fears in practice, and that is, it's quite a difficult thing to go through. However, this card is in reverse, so it's kind of indicating to me that none of this is something she came to of her own accord. Like earlier I was saying, she's probably looking back on her life and deciding that she wants to make a change. No, it's like she's been caught out and she's got no choice except to be honest. It's like she's been caught out and has no choice. It's not something she would have come to, it's not a choice she would have made of her own accord. Number 10. And that is confirmation of something I said earlier, is that she's making these changes because she doesn't want to lose out on what she currently has in her current relationship. A lot of her time and energy has gone into that relationship, and yeah, she is reluctant to lose any of that, doesn't want to, so she's covering up all the insecurities, cutting them out. Anything that she's doing that might put that relationship in jeopardy, she's getting rid of because she doesn't want to miss out on that value. If I was in your shoes, I'd let her be. I would just let her be. The truth is, you do have a relationship. You do have a relationship with her, it just doesn't look the way you would have expected. It's been dark, and it's been weird. And distant. When I say let her be, I mean like forget about it. Forget about being in a romantic relationship with her. Focus on yourself. Move on with your life. Maybe she will come back to you someday. Maybe someone else will come into your life. But the best thing to do would be to just let her be. Now that you know this about her, the best thing would be to just let her go. So GS. Want to know about your person's intentions and their next actions? Yeah, that would be it, you know, apart from GS, there's no one else here. And Jenna was talking about someone crying. Did you hear someone crying? I didn't. Oh, yeah, there might have been a little bit of crying, but it wasn't, it was dramatic, it wasn't legit. Could have been pigs. It was like, oh, I need a pee so bad kind of drama. It wasn't actual legitimate crying. Yeah, there's also pigs. And they do scream at each other every now and then, and they whine, they walk around and whine. You know, when they get horny or hungry and they can't eat or fuck, and they start to whine. You're welcome, Jano. There's also horses, and the horse also, same thing. Although for her it's like exclusively horniness that makes her scream and yell and cry. She doesn't whine for food like the pigs do. But she'll see a stallion in the road and then she'll like scream and race up and down the fence and show off and try and get his attention. And he'll do exactly the same thing, but there's a fence between them, so they'll just continue to scream. I'm so tired today. It's so weird. Because I had like, I don't know, like 10 hours of sleep? Something like that. About 10 hours of sleep. But I'm so tired. Actually not 10 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep. I was up at 6. Yeah, I woke up and I thought it was the middle of the night. And I was like, oh, I wonder how much longer it is until sunrise. And then my alarm went off and it was 2 minutes past 6. I was like, oh, it's actually morning. I didn't get up until like 7:30 though. So I didn't even get to cast any spells today, probably for the best. But I think I'm gonna go and close up for the day. Yeah, I think so. So thanks guys, thank you to those of you who are still watching the stream, and for the likes and the shares and the subscribes and the follows. There weren't any subscribes or follows today. I guess before I go, I'll just remind you guys of what all these elements are and what that's about. So basically, the electricity provider is shutting us off. They told us this was happening on the 26th of last month, but it hasn't happened yet. It's still on. The plan is to move to solar. That's the plan. Take ourselves off grid and to provide some incentive, you know, because we need a little bit of help. I mean, we've got a gas geyser and a gas stove and gravity fed water, and we've got a 250 watt solar panel, and we've got an 800 watt inverter, but we don't have a deep cycle battery and we don't have a solar charge controller. So those are the things that we still need to get. Yeah, to join the raffle, there's like a raffle going on to provide some incentive, and the raffle is to win a tarot deck. So yeah, if you send $10 or more towards helping us get off grid, then I will add your name to the raffle. Winner is announced on the 21st of June. Is that right? Or is it 21st of July? 21st of June. Yeah, June. Yuletide. For you guys that would be Litha. Well, I don't know where you're viewing from, but if you're in the north, 21st of June is summer solstice. In the southern hemisphere, like where I am, 21st of June is the winter solstice. They should really put up some Yuletide trees at the winter solstice. It's something they don't do. They observe a whole lot of winter solstice traditions, autumn equinox traditions, summer solstice traditions, but not all of them. There are some that they omit, particularly when it comes to like aesthetical aspects, like symbolic aspects. They've got events and ceremonies that correspond with the Sabbaths, but not the symbols. No symbols. Like the Christmas tree, that's a winter solstice symbol, and it's not one that they show us. It's not one that they use. And the decorating of the tree is also symbolic. It's a winter solstice tradition, and they don't do it. And gift giving, that's another one that they don't do on the winter solstice. Anyway, thank you guys, thank you for joining me today, and I will probably see you on Friday, if I've still got power by Friday. Then I'll see you then. We do this a bit later in a different time zone, so yeah. Prosperity and abundance and peace to all of you, and yeah, thanks once again.